Hey everybody, welcome to One Flight Down Basement Beer Tastings and part 2 of my look at beers from the Great Western Brewing Company in Saskatoon. So these beers come to me courtesy of my friend Tyler. He dropped these off to me a few weeks ago, and it was a variety pack of 4 original 16 beers from the Great Western Brewing Company. The Great Western Brewing Company formed in 1990, and basically it was formed by 16 former brewers of a brewery that was being bought out by like a big international conglomerate, and so they started up this regional beer. It's funny. It seems like a macro. I guess I don't know. Do you consider like a regional beer a macro? I mean, it's not like it's nowhere near as big as say like Molson, Coors, that kind of thing. But it's big in like Western Canada. And yeah, so there were 4 beers in the variety pack. Last time I did the Pale Ale, which is sort of their standard, their main beer that you find all over the place. And I did a wheat beer. Today I'm looking at 2 more, including the only lager that they make. It is Canadian Ultra Lager. So an Ultra Lager, along the same lines, of course, as like a Molson Ultra, a Michelob Ultra. It is 2.5% alcohol, 80 calories. Yeah, so these are like your low calorie, low alcohol, low carb beers. These beers have their place. Not the kind of thing I drink a lot of, but if I'm going to drink a lot of beer, I might. If we're going to do a session, these are a pretty safe bet. I haven't had this one though, so I don't know what it's like. But generally, with this kind of beer, my rule is not to have one after having had a full strength or more flavorful beer, because these can really just taste like water after you've done that. I don't mind these kinds of beers once in a while, but again, yeah, it's got to be like the only thing you're having on like a take it easy kind of day. But yeah, we're gonna crack into this one right now. Yeah, let's see what we got. So pretty light, as expected. A nice yellow color, some nice upside down snowfall activity going on in there. You can see my face. Hey everybody, welcome to One Flight Down. But it's clear, right? That's a really, really light beer. Some nice head retention there, a very white head on the nose. Smells like a cheap beer. That's what it smells like. Smells like just a cheap beer. Which again, it's got its place. But yeah, it's let's go in for a sip and see what we got here. Yeah, that's super light. Kind of beer that, I mean, I had this sitting in the fridge. I feel like it should be colder. Beers like this like always have to be super cold, don't they? Yeah, it's got kind of like a bit of a tinny note at the end. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty typical for this style of beer. I think maybe one day I'm going to have to compare some of these ultra beers against each other, because I find they're all very similar. But I don't have them often. When I do, they all kind of remind me of each other. I guess I did one not too long ago. I did the Sleeman's Clear, which is also 2.5%. I did that in the Winter Chug Challenge that the Malted Gentleman put out. And if you're going to chug a beer, you got to chug one of these. Not that I'm chugging right now. I know that seemed like a segue into a chug, but no, it's not what I was going to do. Yeah, it's super light. I mean, it's pretty I think this would be very refreshing on a summer day, but you got to have it nice and cold. Yeah, overall, not bad. Nothing special. Certainly not a beer I would like seek out or anything like that. All right, and finally, on to the fourth and final beer of the variety pack. And I should mention fourth and final of the beers that this company seems to put out. They don't seem to do any small batch beers or anything else. They have a number of alcoholic seltzer beer beverages that they have, but just the 4 beers. And this one is the Canadian Copper Ale. This comes in at 5.2% alcohol. I'm pretty sure I've had this before. It would have been a long time. It's been a long time since I've had any Original 16 products. But I'm pretty sure I've had this at some point or other. I'm expecting like an amber, like red ale, that kind of thing. So I assume that's what a copper ale would be. Oh, it's definitely much darker than the last one. Actually, the color on the can seems to represent the color of the beer quite well, doesn't it? Yeah, pretty close. So yeah, not a bad color. Definitely like an amber ale. Yeah, some good activity going on there. Yeah, see my face again. I'm sure you really care about that. I don't know why that amuses me so much today. There's a sweet note on the nose. But pretty subtle. Like, I'm not getting much on the nose at all. Like, I got that kind of cheap beer smell off the last one. I'm not really even getting that. I'm just getting like a very mild sweetness. All right, let's go in for a sip. It's pretty decent. I think, yeah, it's a style like the amber ales kind of thing I used to drink a lot of. I don't really drink them that much anymore, but this is okay. Nice light mouthfeel. It doesn't have like too bad like a too much of like an aftertaste to it or anything. It's just a little bit of a lingering sweetness, like a malty sweetness. Yeah, it's decent. So yeah, overall, the 4 beers from Original 16, none of them were stellar. None of them were terrible. I don't know what the price point is on these. Somehow I don't think it's like I'm sure it's not expensive beer compared to all the craft beers that, that I've been buying, but at the same time you could probably get like, I don't think it's in like the discount aisles. Like I don't think it's like a super cheap beer. Yeah, so it's would that be a factor in deciding to buy it? I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna buy cheap beer, I might just look for what's even cheaper than that. I don't know. But I don't look for cheap beers that much anymore. Like I tend to go for flavor, quality over quantity, I guess. But yeah, they aren't bad. They'd be decent. Like just having a beer on the deck on a summer day. Any of these 4 beers would do the trick. Yeah, but so overall, not bad. Nothing special, but they're decent. I wish I could get a little more excited about them because I like the story behind it. You know, there aren't a lot of so many Canadian, like the major Canadian breweries, not the microbreweries. A lot of them big ones were all kind of like they're all disappearing and turning into conglomerates and that kind of thing. And it's nice to see like just a down home Canadian brewery just making some basic Canadian beer. All right, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you all again real soon. Cheers, everyone. I'm sick and I'm tired and I need to go home.